By the 1990s, Robert Monroe had achieved a stable equilibrium in his out-of-body explorations. He no longer actively managed his own sleep activities. Instead, he delegated the work entirely to his EXCOM, his localized Executive Committee of Consciousness. This committee operated with a highly specific primary function. They spent their time aiding the newly deceased, adopting the recognizable forms of parents or departed friends to offer comfort and ease the shock of the transition. Beyond this retrieval work, EXCOM ran a continuous operation Monroe called the helping mode. They would quietly slip intuitive thoughts, sudden ideas, and gentle nudges directly into the minds of ordinary living people. Monroe's immediate metaphysical environment was not a chaotic spiritual realm. It operated as a highly organized, localized support mechanism, handling practical tasks with quiet efficiency. But curiosity pushed Monroe to look past this comfortable routine. He asked EXCOM a simple question: what external forces, if any, existed outside his own immediate cluster? The answer revealed that his localized operations were occurring within a massive, heavily populated, and highly active overarching system. To understand the actual scale of reality, Monroe had to abandon the familiar comfort of his personal experience and measure the unseen external forces acting upon humanity. The first layer of this external influence was a continuous background interaction. Monroe's own cluster was constantly brushing up against countless other human consciousness structures. This interaction produced what he identified as the H-band noise. It was the accumulated, active weight of every single human thought that had ever been generated in history. The H-band noise carried a specific danger. The sheer volume of accumulated thoughts possessed enough density to completely smother an unprotected, localized consciousness. And beneath this overwhelming wave of human noise, the Earth itself exerted its own foundational energetic influence, shaping the environment from the bottom up. Human consciousness does not float through an empty void. It navigates a highly crowded, dangerous, and potentially overwhelming psychic environment. Operating within this same dense environment was another, exceedingly rare variable: non-human intelligences. These entities evolved along entirely separate trajectories. They carried distinct clinical metrics, which often manifested as a general sense of superiority over humans. Most of Monroe's contacts with these non-human intelligences ended in failure. The entities would lose interest and simply fade away the moment they realized Monroe retained full conscious memory of the encounter. Out of all these fleeting contacts, there was a single statistical anomaly. An entity named Talo possessed a true origin completely outside of time-space altogether. Talo was an ancient trickster intelligence, and as Monroe learned, it had merged into his personal cluster entirely by accident. The presence of these non-human anomalies provided definitive proof. Humanity was merely one small, lower-tier variable operating within a vastly more complex, multidimensional ecosystem. To clarify how all of these entities and structures coexisted, EXCOM delivered a dense data packet explaining the underlying physical laws of the system. EXCOM defined this core mechanism as the M field. As mapped out in this diagram, this broad energy is present within all physical matter, yet it operates entirely outside the boundaries of time and space. This field acts as layered intelligence-forming energy, or life. Concepts we typically view as abstract, thought, emotion, and love, are actually distinct, measurable frequency bands along this spectrum. This physical mechanism explains how post-death bonding between distinct consciousness clusters occurs. The connection strength between two entities is dictated entirely by whether their wavelengths lock into an exact match. Because the M field is concentrated most densely in living organisms, it manifests as the highly contagious spread of charged group emotion. The field operates on a specific power dynamic. A single person projecting focused, broad-banded energy can exert more influence on the local field than the uncoordinated energy of an entire crowd. Since this field resides within every atom of physical matter, focused energetic projection can theoretically alter the state of a biological system, providing a physical pathway for unexplained remissions and miracle cures. Historical accounts of mystics and healers align with these mechanics, suggesting they were utilizing the M field as a tangible engine for biological change. The realization that he had been immersed in this energy for decades without once perceiving it left Monroe feeling like he'd been swimming in an ocean for years without ever feeling the water. It also corrected a deeply held, comforting assumption. Human collective energy is not predominantly positive. The uncontrolled, continuous radiation of mass emotion is chaotic, heavy, and highly dangerous. This leads to a stark realization. To survive this invisible, crushing energetic weight, the human mind must automatically develop unseen psychic shielding. Human existence is not a gentle, upward journey toward enlightenment. It is a constant, subconscious biological imperative of endurance against the overwhelming force of our own collective consciousness.